these are my two barn finds. This is a 1961 International Harvester Scout 80. This one over here is a 1964 International Harvester Scout 80. This one here has been sitting for about 17 years, and this one here has been sitting since about 1976. I've worked a little bit on this one, which is I'm going to try to get running first. Now the only thing I've done to the engine thus far is I've cleaned it out. It was full of lots of cobwebs and grass and dirt and everything else, so I cleaned it out the best I could. I did buy a new battery for it. I have taken the hoses off the radiator. I drained the radiator, then I flushed out the coolant system. I'm gonna have to replace my hoses here, just haven't got to that point yet. I cleaned up the oil bath air filter, and it still had oil in it. I can get it off there, huh? A little trouble doing it one-handed. There we go. You see, it's still got oil residue. I've cleaned it up, but there's still a little bit there. I haven't messed with the carburetor yet. It's going to be one of the next projects. But when I drained the radiator, it didn't look like it was leaking. I'm going to have it leak tested later on. But I was able to get about 3/4 of a bucket full of coolant out of there. All the hoses are missing. This one here is shot, but this one is gone, and the one that runs from here over is gone. I have a new oil filter for it, which I'll replace. I have new distributor wires and a new cap ordered. Hopefully they'll be here within a couple days, and I'll just update that. And here I have actually gone and replaced the spark plugs in the first 3 spots there. I got to pull out the last one, and what I've been doing is vacuuming and cleaning it all out. Pull the plug wire off, vacuum again to make sure nothing falls into the cylinder. You can see this one right here is a brand new. I'm using the, let's see if it'll focus. It says Autolite 85s on it, but the sun's just not cooperating with the focus. What I've been doing is, as I've been pulling the plugs out, I'll spray some WD-40 in there just to lubricate the cylinder, so I don't have a problem. Well, I don't want to cause damage when I first fire this thing up, since it's not been running for 17 years. Get a better view of the engine. And all I've really done is just cleaned up, vacuumed, and shot it with some the areas in here that aren't really affected with water, just to clean it up a little bit. All right, you can see I pulled off the other plug right there, and of course the plug came apart. It's so old. So what I'm gonna do is vacuum it out. So here goes the vacuum. I've already loosened up the plug. if I can just spin it out of there. Maybe not. It's loose. Let's see, almost maybe. Come on. Yeah. Ah. You don't want to come out of there. Yeah, this spark plug hates me. Oh, there you go. Let's see what we got here. Some Autolite 405s. And so we're going to place it with this one. First, we're going to vacuum out that spot again. And it started. Oh, you know what we forgot to do? WD-40. So we can get that nozzle back in there. Almost. Holy smokes. Here we go. Do a good long spray. Try to put this in again. Nope, didn't take. And that's it right there. Holy smokes. There we go. Come on. I'm sorry, my finger keeps getting in the way. Alright. There it is. Now again, I tore up that plug wire also, so we're going to have to wait till the new ones come in and replace that cap. The next order of business is going to be to change the oil in this beast. So here, it looks like we've got the lug for the oil. I might be wrong. I gotta double check that before I start pulling stuff out. But here, we have the canister to hold the oil filter. So both those, and I guess it is the oil pan. If I mentioned, this is the first time I've ever decided to try to work on a barn find. So I'm actually learning a lot of this as I go. So I went and used this here brush and cleaned up the oil pan. What's funny is they designed this so I could use a 3/8 ratchet to open that plug, but you can see where somebody's used a pair of channel locks to get that open. So now this hasn't been opened in 17 years at least, so I have no idea what's going to come out of this. So we will find out together. I feel kind of like Geraldo going into Al Capone's vaults. All right, starting to turn. Get all my stuff out the way. Maybe I can spin this off and not get too much of this garbage on me. Oh my word. Well, I guess it's kind of good that it's got that much oil in it. Holy cow. It is black. Oh, starting to miss. There's that mystery solved. We have the oil filter. Whoops, let me try to keep it in focus. Right here, looks like that's the drain plug. And that, at one point, was a 5/16. But it looks like somebody used a pair of channels or something else to get it open. So right now it is not. I have to find a better way to get that open. I really hate to say this, but it looks like I've not been left a choice. My little, I keep my phone in focus here. This little fella right here is supposed to be the drain, I believe, which is about a 5/30 seconds socket would do it, but that's not working because somebody sheared it off, one of the previous owners, I guess. It doesn't want to come out of there either. It's pretty rock solid. So what I'm going to do is attempt to get this bad boy off, and that's going to take off the whole filter without draining it, which is probably going to be messy, but that will take a 3/4 socket. Let's see what we got. Figure if any way I can get this thing loosened, I can get it off. I've already got a new filter. Oh, there we go. It's getting it in the pan. This might have to be a let it just drip overnight type thing. Oh my gosh, right there, missing it. Oh, why didn't you guys tell me I was missing the pan? Anyway. So we're gonna let this sit for a little while and see how much we can get out of it. Alright, so here is, I removed the canister. I wasn't able to get the drain plug out, so I just popped off the 3/4 bolt, pulled the whole thing apart, and this doesn't look very old, and by the description on it, it's from Napa, and it looks pretty current, so I imagine this filter didn't have very many miles on it. It means the oil was still pretty good. However, the oil was black and been sitting for 17 years, so let's go ahead and change that and make sure we get the right oil in this bugger. So here's the oil canister. Here's the new STP filter I got from AutoZone. It came today, huge box and a little bitty filter. So I'm gonna try to clean this up and get some of the sticker to become legible again, and clean out some of that nasty old oil that's still inside, and go from there. Well, in the other video I was talking about how the drain plug was jacked up. Well, you can see it's pretty gnarly. The threads are pretty jacked up themselves also, not just the end. So I'm thinking that the threads were kind of screwed as it went in, and that's why I couldn't get that little bugger out of there. I think I'm gonna leave it for now. At some point I'll have to go and correct it. It is kind of a mess to have to pull out that bottom and let the whole doggone filter come out, and it kind of spills everywhere. But for now it'll get me to getting this engine running. I'd like to throw this out there. You know, a lot of people talk about buy American, or you get American cars built with foreign parts, or foreign cars built by Americans, and all that other unwinnable argument. But here's something that's nice. See, I went and got this new STP filter right there, made in the USA, just like this entire truck. So doesn't get more American than that. Oil canister and filter are in place. We're going to add oil to the engine. Here's my oil canister, here's my dipstick, and I've been told that these engines need oil that is high in zinc, which actually isn't used anymore with today's modern engines. I don't know the specifics on the reason, but I've had quite a few of my friends tell me that this is what I need, so I'm going to go with them. I trust their judgment and advice. Thankfully, my oil bath air cleaner still has the sticker on it, and if you hopefully can see on there, it says to use standard 30 weight engine oil, which is what I'm gonna do. Now I'm gonna go add that in, and it's conveniently labeled front, with the nice lip here, so I guess when you're braking it doesn't spill all over your engine. There is a spot in there with the letters. You can see where it says to fill level, so let's go and do that. Now it says it only should take a pint, so almost there. Now this is the first vehicle I've ever had with an oil bath air cleaner, so this is a new one for me. And when I opened this up, there were bugs and everything else, but they're all lined through this, but there was still oil, which I was very pleasantly surprised to find. So let's go and put the cap back on. It's seated in there really good. Grab the wing nut and get that back on there. And I'm going to take the rest of this 30 and slap it right here in this convenient little socket, little area for I guess you can use whatever you want in storage, but it seems the previous owner had some old 15 weight brake fluid, and I'm not sure what the other one was because half the label's gone. I'm going to toss that in there for now, and this will be all I can do for the day until I get my distributor wires and cap. Well, after waiting for a couple weeks, I finally got my new distributor cap and wires. There's the old set. Got that out of the way, and now I'm going to start moving on to refilling the the radiator and checking the fuel line. Alright, so I've gone and filled the radiator, and I used regular straight antifreeze coolant, and I used my own distilled water. It takes a 50-50 mix, and I decided to just mix it myself. It actually took a gallon of the coolant and a gallon of the distilled water. I've hooked up the battery, taken the cap off, the lid off the air filter, because I'm going to go and give the carburetor a couple squirts. And as you can see, I've got the lights on to make sure they got power, and we do. Now, with this being my first test, I don't expect much out of the engine. But let me figure out which key it is. Not that one. Get the hose out of the way. There it is. Or not. Maybe it's this one here. Here it is. We're gonna try it. I'm gonna give it another go. Nope. Made some adjustments to see if this worked. All right, I'm gonna give it one more try before I'm done for the night. Ooh, got a little something there. Okay, I lied. I'm gonna try it one more time. I can deal with that. I'm going to do a little more testing right now. Swapped out my fuel line and my filter, running back to the carburetor. I got the lid of it off of the air bath cleaner, so I can just pour some gas in there and get it started. It turns out this is the electric pump somebody installed sometime in the past to get rid of the mechanical fuel pump that's right down there. So it seems also as though this line coming from the fuel tank is clogged. No telling how much crap's been in there, and after it's been sitting almost 20 years. So what I've done is ran from my electric fuel pump down into a little cup with the Avengers on it. I don't know if you can see that or not. Hey, there's Iron Man and Hulk. Just put some gasoline in it to try to get it to run. Let's see what it wants to do. There it goes. Getting my money's worth out of that battery right now. Come on, baby. There we go. You know I like it. Come on, do it. Ooh, almost. Try messing with the choke a little bit. You hear the fuel pump going off every time I let off the ignition. I'm gonna charge that battery, I think. Almost. You can see that rate compression.
idle down and probably sputter out. Ooh, it's still trying. It's good for now.